Hi, Robertsville readers. It's Mrs. Greer here. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be in school for your class today. And so I've recorded this little read aloud to share a story with you, and I'll give you directions for an activity that you can complete at home during your specials class. So since yesterday was the first day of winter, I have a special winter themed story to read to you. It's called A Big Bed for Little Snow, and it is written and illustrated by Grace Lynn. Now, there's this special kind of story called a pourquoi tale, and pourquoi is French for why. And these stories are made up stories from the author's imagination that tell a story about why certain things happen in nature. And this book, called A Big Bed for Little Snow, is that type of story. It's going to tell us why something happens. Now, it's not the real reason why something happens. It's just the author's imaginative way of sharing or imagining why certain things happen. So let's read and see what happens in this story. A Big Bed for Little Snow. When winter began, Little Snow's mommy made a big new bed just for him. Now you have warm feathers to sleep on, Mommy said. Then she looked at her little boy. Remember, Little Snow, this bed is for sleeping, not jumping. Little Snow grinned and nodded. I wonder what he's thinking. That night, tucked into his big bed, Little Snow closed his eyes as Mommy kissed him good night. Thump, thump, thump. Little Snow listened to Mommy's footsteps fade away. Finally, it was quiet. Little Snow opened his eyes. He rolled off his bed and looked at it. His new bed was so puffy and big and bouncy. What do you notice about the cloud? Does it look like anything else to you? I mean, what do you notice about the bed? Does it look like anything else to you? Little Snow grinned and then jumped, jumped, jumped. Tiny feathers squeezed out of his bed and fluttered down. Can you think of other things that flutter? Thump, thump, thump. Uh-oh. Was Mommy coming? Little Snow flopped down on his bed. Little Snow, Mommy said, what are you doing? Nothing, Little Snow said, and he pointed his head back down on his big bed. In the morning, when Little Snow woke up, he listened for his mommy's footsteps. It was quiet. Little Snow grinned and jumped and jumped. More tiny feathers fluttered out. Thump, thump, thump. Uh-oh. Was Mommy coming? Little Snow flopped down on his bed. All winter, whenever Little Snow was near his big bed, he listened for Mommy's footsteps. If it was quiet, Little Snow grinned and then jumped. Sometimes Little Snow jumped small, soft jumps. Sometimes he jumped big, high jumps. Once, Little Snow jumped so high and landed so hard, he made a rip in his bed. Look at all the feathers coming out of his bed. What a lot of feathers fell that day. Huh. Feathers? I see snow falling here. I wonder why it says what a lot of feathers fell that day. Hmm. When winter was over, Mommy came to clean out the feathers from Little Snow's bed. But there were no feathers. Little Snow's bed was empty. Little Snow, Mommy said, did you jump all the feathers out of your bed again? Yes, Little Snow said, but he grinned. Aren't you glad? Now all we have to do is fill it again next winter. The end. So, boys and girls, I know that we know that when it snows, it's because it's cold and there's moisture in the air and moisture in the clouds. And when the moisture comes down and it's cold enough, it turns it into snowflakes, right? But in this story, Graceland thought, I know that that's the science, but what if I wrote a story that explained why it snowed in a different way? And so, each time Little Snow jumped on his bed and feathers came out, that was the snow falling it down. So next time it snows, maybe for the first time this season, actually, no, I think it snowed once already this season. I want you to think about Little Snow jumping on the clouds up in the sky, making it snow for you. Now, for today's activities, you have a couple of choices. Your first choice, since we read the story about Little Snow and winter, is to find something that you have in your house that maybe you could build with. It could be Lego, it could be Kiva planks, it could be little brain flakes, any sort of building toy that you have. And to build a snowflake or to build some sort of other winter themed structure. So maybe it's an igloo, or maybe a sled, or maybe a Christmas tree, or a present, or a snowman, anything that's winter themed. Your second option is to go into your Google Classroom and open up the assignment with today's date and complete one of the self-directed drawing activities that is posted in the slideshow. There is a how to draw a snowflake video, or there is how to draw a snow globe video. You can choose, you can do one or the other, or you can do both. And your final choice today is to complete the finish the comic activity. It's a little snowman themed comic. And what you want to do is you want to look at the pictures in the comic and you want to decide what the flower is saying to the snowman, what the snowman is saying back to the flower, and then you want to finish the story in the empty blocks. You can either print out the paper if you have access to a printer at home. It's posted in Google Classroom. Or you can look at the picture or look at the paper that is posted in Google Classroom, and you can just draw on a blank paper the beginning of the story and then finish the comic. You don't have to print it out, okay? And if you'd like to take a picture of it and send it to Mrs. Greer, you could totally do that. My email address is bgreer@mtps.org. If you finish before our class time is over, you can find a book that you love or a book that you're reading and read until it's time to sign back on with your homeroom teacher. I hope that you enjoyed today's activities. I hope that you enjoyed today's books, and I look forward to hearing about or seeing your completed activities. Have a great day, boys and girls.